Hi everybody, I am Brian and we've been working pretty hard on our chess skills fundamentals class for beginners and intermediates. This is part 6. Today I'm recording this on the weekend. We met on Thursday. The class actually was really good. We met for about an hour and a half. I was really impressed with the students this week. So part 6 is basically tactics, forks, pins, and skewers. And actually, before we do that, I want to take a look at something really quickly. Let's take a look at, first of all, our spreadsheet or our syllabus of what we're doing for this month. If you go to February for this year, I added another column. So if you see in yellow here, or whatever color this is, this manila color, I added some specific training that I'd like us to look at. Basically, it's the mates on chess.com. I believe everyone can access that for free. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But basically what we need to do, we're going to focus on these first 3 columns here. The mate in mate with 2 rooks and a king versus king, mate with 1 queen and a king versus a king, and mate with 1 rook and a king versus king. So if you can go in, do those, basically how it works is you have to solve 5 puzzles, and it gives you a time once you solve those 5 puzzles. If you fail or if you stalemate, then it stops. So make sure that when you do this, make sure you get all 5 in and then record your time in these 3 columns here. You can see some of us have already started doing it. So this is our assignment for the week or the next few weeks. Try and do that. I'm going to show you real quickly how to do that. Once you're in chess.com, basically go to this Learn tab, select End Games, click on that. We're looking at checkmates, which is over here on the right. Click on checkmates and do 2 rooks mate. So we start, it says what my best time is, and go. So basically what we're going to be doing is, for this exercise, the ladder mate, and just keep going until you've completed the test. Okay, there I did the first 2, so I'm going to stop it. But once, like I said, once you do all 5, then go in and enter your time back on the Chess Fundamentals plan and checklist. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I updated this too for this this puzzle rush on chess.com. Try to get through. You can see Hunter is in the lead right now with 50 on survival. But just go through and see how many you can do on survival, plus also puzzle rush 3 and 5. If you have a free account, or like I only have a gold account, I'm thinking about upgrading to a platinum or to diamond, but I'm not sure about that at the moment because you know, it can get kind of expensive. Anyway, there's chesscup.org is a free puzzle rush. Here, chesscup.org. If you go to chesscup.org, they have a very similar puzzle rush, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and survival. So you can do it on here too if you have used up all of your puzzle rushes for the day. So just wanted to give a shout out there. I looked online, they have over 500,000 puzzles. It may be more now that I think about it, but at the time I looked it up, it was, like I said, over 500,000 puzzles. So. Also, another thing that we're looking at this month are our games. I'm asking everybody. Looks like some people have actually put in some games. I added 2. I played Hunter. Basically, what we're asking people to do is play the game. We played this one on our DGT board at the library. I transferred the file onto chess.com, and then I used chess.com to save the PGN in my library, and then I added, you can kind of see it on the screen here, what my notes were for the game. So we're asking everybody to analyze a game, actually 10 games if you can yet this month, and share them with us, like I said, on this fundamentals plan or check sheet. Okay, I did add a few over here on in this gray section some of the YouTube videos that I found, excuse me, this month. I did update our Facebook page for the club, and I added a bunch of videos on there as well. So let's jump into the actual presentation. Let me start the slideshow. So again, we're looking at chess tactics. Basically, from Wikipedia, chess tactic is a sequence of moves where each person makes one or more immediate threats, like a check, material threat, checkmating sequence, a threat, or other tactic. There are other definitions. I think I heard one on Chess Vibes, who is Nelson Lopez. He had a really good definition, I thought, of a tactic. I'm not going to quote him here, but there's lots of definitions of tactics out there if you're interested. Basically, what we're going to be looking at throughout our course are a bunch of these. Today's are forks, skewers, and what's the second one, or the third one? Pins, forks, and skewers we're looking at today. But eventually we'll get to nearly all of these throughout the class. Tactics are like we said before, they are moves that are a lot of times gaining material. A lot of times those are called double attacks. The ones that we're looking at today are double attacks. Like I said, the pin, the skewer, and the fork. Discovered attacks and discovered checks are also double attacks. We're going to look at those next time. I originally was going to cover that today, but decided that the class was long enough with just pins, forks, and skewers. Like I said, it went for an hour and a half. So let's keep going. Today's presentation, if you didn't get to class, I know we have a group of people who watch these online. That's great. Anyone can join our club. Anyone can participate in the club. So today's presentation will again focus on the double attacks of pins, forks, and skewers. So a pin is a move where one piece prevents the moving of another piece, because moving it would make the piece behind it, usually a more valuable piece, vulnerable to attack. A pin is the most common form of attack in chess. Only bishops, rooks, and the queen can execute a pin. So this is an example of a pin. As you can see on b5, white's bishop is attacking black's knight, which is pinned to black's king. This is referred to an absolute pin because the knight absolutely cannot move because it's pinned to the king. If you were to move the knight, it would be an illegal move. So, and you can't move the knight. So we call those absolute pins. Usually when we play chess, we just call them pins. But just for fun, we'll kind of go through a few of the different types of pins there are. Now this is a relative pin. As you can see, the bishop on g5, white's bishop, the dark squared bishop. So white's bishop is attacking black's knight, which is pinned to black's queen. Now this is a relative pin because moving the knight would result in white winning black's queen. You can move this pinned piece, the knight. That's what makes it relative. So it is a pin, but you can move the knight. You don't want to because white would gain black's queen. Here's another example of a pin. This is a real game, a game that I played. I believe it was, I don't know if it was a 3-minute game or what, but here was a real game. It's a poor exchange followed by white, or a poor exchange by white followed by a devastating pin. So it was my move. Is it wise for white to take black's pawn? Actually, it's white's move. Is it wise for white to take black's pawn on e4? No, excuse me. It is my move. I don't know why I said that. So it's black's move. Is it wise for me to take the f4 pawn? Do you also notice something in this example as to why you would want to take that pawn? What I did take, so I took the pawn on f4, attacks white's bishop and rook with a fork. So that pawn is attacking two pieces. As I said, the bishop on g3 and the rook on e3. Now black's pawn, or my pawn on f4, is supported by the bishop on d6. So what white decided to do, they took in the next move, they took the pawn on f4, so bishop takes f4, but it's a poor trade because that bishop is unprotected, and that square was covered by my my black squared rook on d6. So what I did is I took that bishop, and now I've pinned the rook, white's rook, to the king. Now I was already far ahead in material, but now because of the pin, white is going to lose that rook as well. So in this particular game, white decided, my game 850 decided to resign to this attack that I did. Okay, so the next example, or two or three, are basically what we did in class. Is I asked the class what is the best move in each example. We gave everybody a minute to look at the examples. If you need more time, please pause the video. A lot of our students said, yeah, I want to watch the video again, even after the class, because some of them are kind of tricky. So what is white's best move in this position? Do you see it? In this example, bishop to b5 is the best move because it now pins black's queen to its king. You can see in the example, the evaluation bar on the left is showing that it's really to white's advantage. Let's talk about skewers really quick because those are like pins. A skewer is a move where a piece can attack two opponent's pieces in a straight line, which is similar to a pin. The piece of greater value must be moved as it sits in front of the piece of lesser value. So like I said, this is the opposite of a pin. A skewer is the opposite of a pin. Here's some examples of that. All right, so how can white place a skewer on black? Do you see it? So in this example, white can move to b3. Now white is now attacking black's king, which is skewered to black's queen. Black's more valuable piece, the king, it has to be moved out of the way because it's in check, therefore making it possible for white to take black's queen. Although black was ahead of material, white was able to maneuver into the skewer and take significant advantage over black. Now the game is winning for white, as before the game was winning for black. All right, here's another example, a pin. In this example, white has pinned black's knight to the queen. Black does not need to move its knight because it's a relative pin. However, in this next example, if it were reversed, black's knight and queen are reversed, so white needs to move its queen because of the skewer. Otherwise, white can capture black's queen. This is also known as an X-ray. White has an X-ray on black's knight, so it's X-raying through black's queen and attacking the unprotected knight. I like this example because it's also an example that shows a trapping. We're going to talk a little bit about that next week or the week after, depending on our schedule for the class. But if you can see in this example, there is no safe square that the queen can escape from this capture. For example, so the white bishop on g5 is attacking the queen on f6. Moving it to e7, moving the queen to e7 would still mean it would be captured. The queen can't move to e5 because that's covered by the pawn, white's pawn, on d4. White can't move to d4 and attack the pawn because that pawn is covered by white's queen on d1. Continuing around the circle, black's queen can't go to f5 because that's covered by the white's bishop on c2. Black's queen can't go to f4 because that's covered by white's bishop on g5. Black's queen can't go to f3 and grab the knight because that's covered by white's queen on d1. Taking the bishop on g5 is not an option for black. It is an option, but I mean it's not a good option for black because that square is covered by white's knight on f3. The only other two places that are available for black to protect the queen is g6, which is covered by white's bishop on c2. And the last place that black could go to retreat the queen is h6, which is protected by white's bishop on g5. So that's why we call it a trap, or that's why it's called trapping, because there's no safe square for black's queen, so they're going to lose the queen in this example. Sorry if that took a long time, but sometimes those can be kind of tricky. But yeah, we'll cover trapping a little later in another video, or another lesson. So next, what we did in the class is we did a quiz. And this did take some time because not everybody found the pins and the skewers at the same time. So let's kind of go through what we went through. If you need to pause the video, please do so. Some of these can be kind of tricky. Okay, can you find the pin or skewer in this example? Do you see it? I'll give you a hint. The piece is going to attack the queen. White's piece is going to attack black's queen. If you move white's bishop, white light squared bishop, to actually let's do it, to b5. This is an actual game that I played on chess.com. I can't remember, this is a great move. I think that's a great move that Stockfish says. By moving the bishop to b5, I've now pinned black's queen to the king. In this example, I won the queen. It was a fun game. So he took my bishop on b5, which was, the best thing that they could have done, I think. And then I took black's queen with my knight. Okay, here's another example. Find the pin or skewer. Do you see it? If you can't find it yet, it is by moving a rook. Now do you see it? Here's the answer. This is another real game that I played. This one's against the shedding reptile. What I did was this was a 3-minute blitz game. I moved my rook from f, so rook f to d1. That is putting a pin now on the bishop, the d3. The reason it's a pin again is because the more valuable piece is the rook, which is behind the bishop. Now the reason that I moved, we had a discussion on this in the class too. They said, why didn't I move the rook on a1 over? Had I done that, then the next move, black would have grabbed my rook on f1. So in order to not lose my rook on f1, that's why I moved the f rook over to d1. What's this example? Find the pin or skewer. White to move. Can you find the skewer? This was fun. This was another real game. This was another 3-minute blitz game that I played on chess.com. This I'll give you a hint. It's with a white needs to move a rook, and I have come across this this tactic several times. When I play, I'll give you the answer. Basically, I moved my rook, my h rook, h1, to rook takes h8 check. Right there, I am placing a skewer on the king. The king has to be moved because it's in check. So what did Demonic Lucci do? I probably said that wrong. I apologize. He moved his king out of the way. They moved it to d7. Now the skewer is my rook can attack black's rook on a8. So what did I do? I took. So that was a great tactic because I gained 2 rooks in that combination or that tactic. Like I said, that does happen in games. You have to pay attention and take advantage of it when it does happen. Black resigned in that game. So what's a fork? A fork is a type of double attack where one piece can attack 2 opponents' pieces simultaneously. Knights are commonly used for forks, but all other pieces can also fork 2 or more pieces. Here's an example of a fork. This is a famous fork from the Italian game Opening. I'm calling it the fried liver. I don't know if this is actually the fried liver. It might not be the exact fried liver position, but it's like a fried liver in that white's next move is knight to f7, taking this pawn, which then forks black's queen and king. This I have done several times. It's also been done to me early on when I used to when I wasn't aware of the fried liver. Again, it's like a fried liver. I don't think it is the fried liver. Now what I do is I just push the pawn on h6 when I play black, and I don't have to worry about it. I avoid the fried liver. There are ways around it, like there's a oh, what is it called? I'm blanking on it now. Levy Roseman does a whole, and so does Eric. Shoot, what's his name? I'm blanking on it. Darn it. Anyway, there are lots of people that talk about, it's not the Stafford Gambit, it's the Traxler. It's the Traxler, which are a series of moves that basically counters the fried liver. Anyway, as you can see now with this fork, it's a protected knight. It's attacking the queen and the rook. Here's another example of a fork. This is just a position I set up on the board. It's not from a real game. This example is called a royal fork, and that is where white's knight is attacking black's king and black's queen. What's referred to as a family fork is when you have all three of them, where you're attacking the rook as well. I have played this before. It has come up in games, so look for these patterns as you see them in your games and take advantage of them. I have had both the royal fork and the family fork come up in my play as I'm playing opponents. Again, what was a lost game for white now has become a winning opportunity for white because you've just won their queen. This is an example of a bishop fork. What can white play to initiate the bishop fork? This example, I'm not sure is the best example. I can't remember where I got this. I think I got it off this example off one of the DVDs from Chess Base or somewhere. But this example is a bishop fork. What you do to initiate it is you are moving your knight. So your knight takes e6 or knight. Takes the c6. Black then takes with the pawn, and now you swing in with the bishop. White takes e6 with a nice fork on black's king and black's rook. What can black do? They come in with their bishop to attack my bishop, defending their king, but the damage is already done because now I can come in and take off black's rook on a8 with bishop takes a8. White then can take my bishop, but white had traded two minor pieces, a knight and a bishop, for a rook and a pawn. In this example, white is slightly ahead in valuation. White also has a better position than black in this example. I have seen recently, I can't remember if it was on Chess Dojo or if it was Gotham Chess, or if it was Chess Vibes with Nelson Lopez. One of them had said that for people at our level, it may not be to our advantage to lose two pieces, like a bishop and a knight, for a rook and a pawn. Sometimes having two pieces rather than losing the against a rook, sometimes it's better to have the two pieces than have lost the rook and the pawn. I'm not sure about that. I'm sure the international masters and the grandmasters know better than me, but I don't know. I just heard it, so I thought I'd share that with you. This is a famous queen fork. I have seen this done before. White leads with the king's pawn to e4. Black responds with e5. White brings out the queen to h5. This does break one of our opening principles, which is do not move your queen out too early in the opening. But this is sort of a fun fork to know about in case you're playing somebody who is a beginner, and you probably should know it. So what black responds is they push the pawn out to g6 to attack the queen. The best move here, I believe, is knight to c6, and I've got it marked on the example. And this is the reason. Can you see what white's best move in this example is? Do you see it? Basically, white moves their queen and takes black's pawn on e5 with queen takes e5 check. Now white has to deal with this check, but it's also a fork or a double attack on black's king and black's rook, and there's no way that in this example black can protect both the king and the rook at the same time. So black defends its king with either the bishop or the knight. As I said, black can't protect both. So in this example, black defends with the rook, black defends with knight to e7. The rook is still under attack by white's queen, so we snap that rook right off the board with queen takes h8. Now white is up 6 points in material. Again, something we need to know, but be careful because, as I said, this does break an opening principle in the opening, which is do not move your queen out too early in the opening. These are two examples of pawn forks. We have white's rooks are forked by black's pawn on the right, and on the left, white's bishop and knight are forked by black's protected pawn on b4. This is an example of a king fork. I have done this one too. This is not from a real game. This is just an example I set up. Black moves its king to d5 with king d5, forking white's knight and white's bishop. White can't protect both of its pieces, so white is going to lose either the bishop or the knight in this example. All right, let's do some more quizzes. Find the fork. Do you see the fork in this one? For some reason, the students didn't see this one right away. I think because they're probably looking for a piece that that can fork, not necessarily a pawn. Do you see it now? Basically what you do is you move your pawn up to e5. Now you're attacking black's knight and black's bishop. So can you find the fork in this example? How can white fork black? Do you see it? They had trouble with this one too. Maybe not a conventional fork that we see all the time, but I refer to these pieces in our class as snipers. Do you see it now? If you ever watch Coffee, what is it called? Coffee. It's the guys who play chess. I want to say it's like Coffee Chess or something like that, and they trash talk their opponents, and it's really fun. And shoot, they're always talking about. I want to say Mike is his name. Boston Mike is always referring to this piece as, or these pieces as snipers. I'm referring to the bishop, especially the bishop on g3. If you move that bishop to c7, excuse me, now you've placed a fork on both of black's rooks. In this example, black. This is from a real game. This is from The Shedding Reptile. I think I had another example from this game. Black moved its rook to d7 to attack my bishop, and I still grabbed one of the rooks, the rook on b6. I'm going to move it back a couple of slides here. What Hunter said in class. Now, Hunter is a USCF 2000 rated player. He is our best. He's far better than me. He technically could probably teach this class better than I do, but he does help with the class a lot. So we do rely on him. What he was saying is if black moved the rook on d8 to c8, if I took the rook on b6, if black had their rook on c8, he would pull off this hanging piece right here, this bishop on c4. I also didn't see that I have another hanging piece this knight on c3. So there are two hanging pieces on this file once the bishop is moved. Let's go forward. Can you find the fork for white? Do you see the fork for white? I'll give you the answer. Basically, it's moving the queen to c3. This was another one that took our students a while to figure out. Basically, what we're doing is we've forked black's king and black's bishop. Now, we call the bishop on b7 a hanging piece because there's nothing protecting it. So we will win the bishop in this move. All right, let's take a look at this example game. This is a real game that I played. I don't remember when I played it. As I'm always telling the students, one of my main goals is to play my games without any blunders. I'm at the level, and actually all of us should be doing this, where we work and try to focus on playing games, longer games, so that we can do some relatively deeper thinking than what you're going to get in a 3-minute game. I do like to play 3-minute games too, but you know, those blitz games, rapid games are fun too. But if we really want to take a look at you know, some serious deep thinking, we need to have longer games. So I'm always telling the students that they love these bullet games and these blitz games, and yeah, they're fun, but I don't know that we're really learning a lot from these quick games other than to go with our gut move and have quick thinking. But again, if we really want to develop, I would say let's focus on some longer games. I know that's one of the things that Grandmaster Jesse Cry is always talking about from the Chess Dojo. And not just Jesse, but all three of them from the Chess Dojo are always talking about deeper thinking and playing longer games. I am still thinking about joining the dojo. It is a little pricey for me, maybe not for all of you, but as you know, I'm a father, and I have to be careful with the money that we spend at home. So right now I'm not joining, but at some point I hope I can join the Chess Dojo at some point. And also get a premium, like a diamond or a platinum membership at chess.com. Those are sort of my goals. Anyway, let's take a look at this game where I'm featuring some of the moves that I made during the game. This is what I came up with. So what we're trying to do on our spreadsheet is to take a look at, play some serious games, and then after you're done, load them into chess.com or to Lichess, excuse me, and then make some comments and some analysis on your game. What I do is I play through the game and I write down my comments, my thoughts as I'm going through the game. I'm not really looking at what Stockfish is saying. I'm not really looking at what chess.com is saying is my best move. I'm just writing down my thoughts as to how I played. And according to the dojo and other places, that's really how we can further develop in our skills, is trying to take a look for ourselves, come up with our best analysis and plans as we're playing or when we're analyzing. And the reason for that is we're not going to have Stockfish running when we're playing a real game. So being able to critically analyze either while we're playing but also afterwards is really important. So I think, like I'm pretty open with you guys, where what I do is I spend about 15-20 minutes writing down all my thoughts as I review the game. And usually I'll review a game that I played relatively shortly after I played it. I will review it just so all the thoughts are fresh in my mind. Then after I do that, then I go through and look to see what chess.com and Stockfish say I should have done. So in this game, I am white. I start with d4, d5, bishop to f4. My opponent plays e6. I play knight to f3. My opponent plays h6. Sometimes grandmasters say this is a wasted tempo or a wasted move this early in the opening. I play e3. As you can see, I am trying to play the London. In playing the London, I'm making a pyramid with these pawns here. This is another thing I should be upfront about. I just heard a lecture by Jesse Cry again. As I said, this is Saturday, and I've been listening to chess as I've been working around the house. And he said, again, at our level, we should not be memorizing openings. We should be thinking about opening principles. There's a lot that we can learn by just playing the opening principles of chess. And if we do that, he refers to them as, if you do opening principles, you are making grandmaster moves. When we try to memorize openings too early, there's a lot of things that are involved, a lot of responses that we don't anticipate, and we, at our level, we just can't we just can't know those at our level. All right, so as I said, I've been playing the London, which again is not really what Jesse wants us to do, but that's okay for now. I shouldn't say that's okay. I need to get back and do what he says. Usually in the London, I make the pyramid. I just went through that, but lately I've been pushing the pawn to c4 to attack the center and develop my knight to c3. And the reason I want to move this knight to c3, there's another opening called the Jobava London, which is you move the knight to c3, then to b5, and then to c7, which then is going to fork the king and the rook. So that's the Jobava. There's a lot more to it than that, but again, that's probably why I need to focus on opening principles and not on openings, because there's a lot to that opening I just don't know. All right, let's keep going. All right, knight to f6, c takes d5, queen takes d5, stockfish. Now remember I said I do my analysis first, but then I go through the whole game again with the engine and add stuff to it. So this is a note I added once I ran the once I ran it through stockfish. So stockfish says that this is an inaccuracy and black should have taken the pawn with black's pawn on e6. And this is why that's important. Well, not why that's important. I also missed a free pawn by bishop to d3. That would have snapped that pawn off from c7, but I missed it. I could have taken it with my bishop. Black plays knight to e4. I play knight to c3. f5 by black. This is a blunder by black. They weren't watching what I was doing by attacking black's queen with my knight. And so my next move is I take off black's knight. This is another thing we need to do at our level. We need to do a blunder check. If you don't know what a blunder check is, I'm going to do one in a couple of weeks. I'll talk to the class about a blunder check, but there's really good examples out there like Nelson Lopez, which is Chess Vibes. He has a really good blunder check. He talks about, what is my opponent thinking? What are they doing? Are they attacking anything of mine? Do I have anything hanging? There's all these things that that at least he has in his blunder check. Levy or Gotham Chess, he also has sort of a blunder check type of thing with checks, captures, and threats. So take a look at that. Take a look at those. Look them up on YouTube. The next move was e takes d5, bishop takes e4, and d takes e4. Knight to d2, b6, bishop takes c7, bishop to b4. Now black is pinned, as you can see. He has an attack on my king right here, which is pinning my knight to my king. I move my queen to c2, and as you can see in my notes right here, now I am threatening to not just to take the knight on c6, but also putting a nice fork on black's king and black's rook. So that was the reason. Oh, another thing that I've been listening to too is, as we are playing our games and analyzing our games, one thing I learned on one of the Andrew Martin what am I trying to say, videos that we have, I heard him say several times to as you are playing a game, you need to think about what is your reason for making every single move. And you should be able to explain every single move to somebody who is your friend or is someone that you're trying to teach chess to. Again, we need to think about what is the reason behind every single move. All right, so bishop to d7, which sort of foils my plan. a3, I'm attacking the bishop, black's bishop on b4. So he moves his bishop back to e7. d5, now I'm attacking black's knight. Black moves their knight to d8. My bishop takes d8, rook takes d8, I castle. Bishop back to d5, or not back to d5, but to d5. Rook f to d1, and castles. I move my queen out to b3, bishop back to d7. The reason I did that was because my queen was attacking a hanging piece, which was that bishop. And now this is a great move that I really liked. It's pawn to d6 check. Now the reason it's a check is because I have a discovered check by attacking black's black squared. The pawn is attacking black's bishop, but my queen is now put black into check. So that is a discovered a check, but I'm attacking black's bishop on e7. So what do? They move their rook up, which now has created a pin on black's rook. They can't move the rook now because that would be an illegal move, because I would be checking black's king. But in my next move, I can take off a free bishop, and that's what I do. Black can't take my pawn because black's rook is still pinned to the king. So now my pawn on e7 is attacking the rook on d8. So they move their rook to e8 out of the threat of the pawn. Knight to c4, bishop to e6, which is actually a pretty good move by black because now they've pinned my knight to my queen. So that was a nice pin by black. I move my queen out of the way of the pin, but still protect my knight. Rook e takes e7, so they took that pawn. Knight to e5, rook to f8, and now knight to g6. This is a great fork by my knight on both of black's rooks. So a great example of a fork. As you can see, a lot of your games, you will have a lot of these tactics in your game. So try to protect yourself from them and also try to execute them. a6 by black, queen takes b6. Rook f to e8. They've now doubled up their rooks on the e-file. I've taken one of their rooks, which was knight takes e7. Rook takes my knight on e7. And my rook down to e8 check. They have to move, or they can block, but I'll just take their rook, so they need to move their king, which they do with king to h7. We looked at this. Hunter had an idea here. If on move 28 with queen down to d8 check, king goes over. Go back. King goes over, and then I can take black's rook. So I missed that, but Hunter saw it. King to h7 is where we left off. Queen takes a6. Takes the pawn. Rook to c7. I imagine they're thinking, black is thinking, hey, maybe I can back. I can mate them with a mate back here, but my rook is covering this rank. So they wouldn't be able to do a back rank mate, but maybe that's what they were thinking. I don't know. What did I say? Black moves the rook, which was defending his bishop, so now the bishop's hanging. I take the bishop with my queen, h5. Queen takes h5 check. They are defending, yet attacking my queen with g6. Queen takes e4. Rook to g7. I'm now getting my other rook back into the game with rook a to d1. King h6. Rook h8 check. He could have blocked with the rook, but he's so far on material, he's probably just running at this point. So king to g8, and my last move is checkmate with queen to f4 checkmate. So I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope it reinforced some of the pins, forks, and skewers that we've been talking about in our class today. So assignments, like I said, go into chess.com, hit learn and end games, and see if you can time out your 2 rooks and a king versus a king, 1 queen and a king versus a king, and 1 rook and a king versus your king, and put those times in the spreadsheet. If you're a guest and made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. If you want to join our club, our club is open to everyone. You can just send me a note that you want to join, and I'll add you to our spreadsheet, and you can participate in the club as well. A lot of the videos and stuff that we have are for purchase. You can buy them from a number of places, or some of them are also on YouTube as well. Some of the stuff that I've listed there are actual free videos that you can get off of YouTube. So I hope you join us. Thanks for watching. If you, like I said, want to join us, let me know if there's anything I can do to help, and thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.